Ever wondered why some relationships blossom and others wither? The secret lies in two key elements: intimacy and communication. Just as the roots of a tree need water and sunlight to grow, relationships need intimacy and communication to flourish. These two elements are not just the foundation but also the lifeblood that keeps a relationship vibrant, alive and growing. They are like the colors on the canvas of love, making the picture of a relationship more vivid and beautiful. Intimacy is the close, familiar and usually affectionate or loving personal relationship with another person. It's the feeling of being in a close personal association and belonging together. It's a mutual phenomenon. It's about being emotionally close to your partner, being able to let your guard down, and knowing that your partner will be there for you, come what may. On the other hand, communication is the process of sharing information, thoughts, and feelings with each other. It's the thread that binds two people, allowing them to share their lives, hopes, fears, and dreams. It's about understanding, respect, and love. But what happens when these elements are lacking in a relationship? The consequences can be dire. Without intimacy, a relationship can feel cold and distant. The bond between partners weakens, and feelings of loneliness may creep in. Without communication, misunderstandings can arise, leading to conflicts and resentment. This creates distance and breeds distrust, which can ultimately lead to the breakdown of the relationship. However, the good news is that intimacy and communication can be nurtured and improved. They are not static elements, they evolve and change over time. Like a garden, they need constant attention, care, and love. Stay tuned as we delve into the process of building intimacy and improving communication. Building intimacy in a relationship is like constructing a house. It requires a strong foundation and several essential building blocks. Just as a house needs a solid base, walls, a roof, and many other elements, a relationship requires trust, understanding, shared experiences, and physical affection to truly flourish. Firstly, trust is the bedrock of any intimate relationship. It's like the concrete foundation of the house. Without trust, the entire structure is shaky and unstable. Trust is built over time through consistent actions that show reliability, honesty, and integrity. It's about being there for each other, standing by your words, and showing up when it matters the most. Trust is not built in grand gestures but in small, everyday moments. Next, understanding is like the walls of the house that provide shelter and security. Understanding in a relationship means accepting each other's differences, being patient with each other's flaws, and empathizing with each other's feelings. It's about listening not just to respond, but to comprehend. It's about trying to see things from your partner's perspective, even when it's difficult. Understanding fosters a sense of connection and closeness that deepens intimacy. Then we have shared experiences, the windows of our house of intimacy that let in the light and offer a view of the world outside. Shared experiences are moments of joy, adventure, and even adversity that you go through together. These experiences bind you together, creating common memories and stories. They breed a sense of companionship and camaraderie, enriching the bond of intimacy. Whether it's traveling together, trying a new hobby, or overcoming a tough situation, shared experiences add layers of depth to your relationship. Lastly, physical affection is like the roof of the house that brings everything together and provides protection. Physical affection in a relationship goes beyond just sexual intimacy. It includes simple acts like hugging, holding hands, a loving gaze, or a comforting touch. These gestures convey love and warmth, creating a sense of belonging and closeness. They bridge the gap between words and feelings, making love tangible. It's important to remember, however, that like building a house, building intimacy doesn't happen overnight. It's a process that requires time, effort, patience, and most importantly, mutual willingness. Each block contributes in its own unique way, and the absence of anyone can make the structure incomplete. But with all these blocks in place, you can create a house of intimacy that is strong, beautiful, and resilient. With these building blocks in place, you can create a house of intimacy that withstands the test of time. Now let's switch gears and focus on the other crucial aspect of a relationship: communication. Communication is the lifeblood of any relationship. It's the highway on which love, understanding, and connection travel. It's the foundation upon which intimacy is built. But let's be clear. Communication is not just about exchanging words, it's about understanding the emotions and intentions behind them. So how can we enhance this vital aspect of our relationships? First and foremost, it's about being open and honest. Honesty fosters trust and deepens intimacy. It's about sharing your thoughts, your feelings, your fears, and your dreams. It's about letting your partner see you, the real you, warts and all. It's about being vulnerable. Yes, it can be scary to open up, especially if you've been hurt in the past, but it's a risk worth taking, for it's in this space of vulnerability that true connection is born. Next, let's talk about active listening. It's easy to hear the words that are being said, but it takes effort to really listen. Active listening is about fully focusing on your partner, understanding their perspective, and responding thoughtfully. It's about acknowledging their feelings even if you don't agree with them. It's about creating a safe space where your partner feels heard and understood. Remember, when you listen with empathy, you're not just hearing words, you're feeling the emotions behind them. Now let's not forget about nonverbal communication. Did you know that a large part of our communication is nonverbal? That's right. Our body language, facial expressions, and even the tone of our voice convey messages. So it's not just about what you say, but how you say it. Your body language should align with your words. A warm smile, a gentle touch, or a loving gaze can speak volumes. They can convey love, understanding, and connection in ways words sometimes can't. Finally, let's touch on expressing feelings. It's important to express your feelings in a way that's respectful and considerate. Use I statements instead of you statements. For instance, say, I feel upset when instead of you make me upset when. This way, you're taking ownership of your feelings and not blaming your partner. This approach fosters understanding and prevents resentment from creeping in. Let's wrap this up. Enhancing communication in your relationship is a journey, not a destination. It's about continually learning, growing, and connecting. It's about being open and honest, actively listening, understanding nonverbal cues, and expressing feelings respectfully. Remember, communication is not just about talking, it's about connecting. Even with the best intentions, there can be barriers that hinder intimacy and communication in a relationship. One common barrier is the fear of vulnerability. Opening up to another person requires a level of trust that can be difficult to achieve. It's natural to fear getting hurt, especially if you've been wounded in the past. But it's essential to remember that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a strength. It's the gate to authenticity and deeper connection. Overcoming this fear may take time, but it begins with self-acceptance and trusting your partner. Past trauma is another significant barrier that can interfere with intimacy and communication. Traumatic experiences can create defensive walls, making it hard to let others in. It's important to acknowledge these experiences and seek professional help if necessary. Healing is a process, but it's possible and necessary for a healthy relationship. Then there's the lack of time. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to let the busyness of life get in the way of our relationships. But remember, time is not just about quantity, it's about quality. It's not always about grand gestures, but about small, meaningful moments. Even a brief conversation about your day or a shared laugh can foster intimacy. Make your relationship a priority, and you'll find the time. And let's not forget about misunderstandings. They are inevitable in any relationship, but can become barriers when not addressed. Effective communication involves not just talking, but also listening. Try to understand your partner's perspective and express your feelings without blame or judgment. Finally, societal expectations and norms can also act as barriers. These can pressure us into behaving in certain ways, restricting our authenticity. Remember, your relationship is unique, and it's okay to deviate from what's considered normal as long as it works for both of you. Overcoming these barriers is not easy, but it's a journey worth embarking on for the sake of your relationship. Navigating these challenges together can actually strengthen your bond, bringing you closer than ever before. So don't be discouraged. Keep striving for intimacy and open communication because your relationship is worth it. You now understand the importance of intimacy and communication, but how do you practically improve these areas in your relationship? Let's dive right into it. The first practical step is to spend quality time together. Time is the currency of relationships. It's not merely about being in the same space, it's about being present, emotionally, mentally, and physically. This could be anything from having dinner together, taking a walk, or simply having a shared experience like watching a movie. But remember, it's not the activity that matters, but the connection you foster during the time spent. Secondly, express your love. This may seem obvious, but it's surprising how many of us struggle to articulate our feelings. Love can be expressed in many ways. It could be through words of affirmation, acts of service, giving gifts, quality time, or physical touch. These are what we call the 5 love languages. Understanding your partner's love language and expressing love in a way that resonates with them is crucial. It's also important to remember that expressing love isn't always about grand gestures. It's in the little things. The gentle squeeze of a hand, the warm smile across a crowded room, the thoughtful cup of coffee in the morning. These small tokens of affection can mean the world to your partner and do wonders in strengthening your bond. Now let's talk about communication. More specifically, active listening. This is the kind of listening where you're not just waiting for your turn to speak. You're fully engaged, you're present, and you're making an effort to understand your partner's perspective. It's about showing empathy and validation, even if you don't necessarily agree. Active listening involves giving your partner your undivided attention, confirming that you understand what they're saying, and responding in a way that encourages further communication. This can be as simple as nodding in agreement, saying things like "I see," "I understand," or "tell me more." Remember, when your partner is sharing, it's not about solving problems, it's about understanding their feelings and perspective. Lastly, don't shy away from difficult conversations. It's natural to want to avoid conflict, but addressing issues head-on can actually bring you closer. Approach these conversations with an open mind and a calm demeanor. Remember, it's not you against your partner, it's both of you against the problem. In conclusion, improving intimacy and communication in your relationship isn't about making grand changes. It's about small, consistent actions that build trust and understanding over time. It's about making your partner feel loved, valued, and heard. It's about being present, being authentic, and being willing to grow together. Remember, like any skill, improving intimacy and communication takes practice. So, start today. Practice these steps and watch your relationship flourish. Let's recap what we've learned today about intimacy and communication in relationships. We started off by understanding the crucial role of intimacy and communication in relationships. Intimacy, we discovered, is the glue that keeps a relationship strong, while communication is the bridge that connects two hearts. It's a beautiful dance where one cannot exist without the other. From there, we dove into the building blocks of intimacy. We explored how shared experiences, vulnerability, trust, and mutual respect form the cornerstone of a deep and meaningful connection. Each of these elements, like bricks in a wall, contributes to the strength and durability of your relationship. Enhancing communication was the next stop on our journey. We explored how active listening and expressing feelings in a clear, respectful manner can create a safe space for both partners. We learned that it's not just about what we say, but how we say it. Remember, communication is a two-way street, and it's important to give as much as you receive. We also addressed the barriers to intimacy and communication. Fear, lack of trust, past traumas, and poor communication skills can create walls between partners. But by acknowledging these barriers, we can begin to dismantle them, brick by brick. Lastly, we went through some practical steps to improve intimacy and communication. From setting aside quality time, practicing empathy, to adopting a positive mindset, each step is a stepping stone towards a happier, healthier relationship. It's important to remember that building intimacy and enhancing communication is a journey, not a destination. It requires patience, effort, and a lot of love. But the rewards, as they say, are well worth the effort. With these tools in hand, you are well equipped to build a relationship that's not only strong but also filled with love and understanding.